Hello, I'm Yonden Lhatoo at the South China Morning Post. Someone slashed a police officer in the neck with a box cutter in yet another outbreak of street violence that has come to define Hong Kong's great revolution of our times. The suspect in custody is a high school student. Whatever we may feel about the civil unrest that has traumatized Hong Kong for more than 4 months now, there is just no denying or escaping one consequence we'll all have to face sooner or later: the end of innocence as we know it for our children. Whether we condone or condemn the carnage, we are all effectively standing by and watching a generation of underage Hong Kongers growing up with hatred in their hearts, radicalized minds, and even blood on their hands. I've lost count of the number of times I've seen doe-eyed minors arrested by police at the end of so many outbreaks of violence. Your heart goes out to them when you watch them being subdued and handcuffed, the mob-fueled defiance smoked and beaten out of them with tear gas and truncheons, some looking shell-shocked, others shivering in fear and crying for their mothers. Make no mistake, many of them will have to face the full force of the law for their direct participation in acts of extreme violence and criminal behavior, from vandalism to savage attacks on police officers and mob lynchings of citizens foolhardy enough to challenge or confront rampaging protesters. If you are old enough to commit these crimes, you are old enough to face the punishment. Former British Prime Minister David Cameron once said, when processing the fact that more than half of those arrested during the London riots of 2011 were aged below 20 years. Of the nearly 2,400 arrested so far in Hong Kong since the anti-government protests were sparked in June by the now withdrawn extradition bill, 750 were aged under 18, and more than 100 of them below 16, including 12 and 13-year-olds. A high school student, 18, has been shot in the chest, and a 14-year-old boy in the leg, both during dangerous attacks on police officers. Are these innocent cherubs risking life and limb to liberate Hong Kong from the yoke of tyranny, as vote-grubbing opposition politicians would have the world believe, or bonsai barbarians who deserve all they've got coming for destroying this city along with their future, according to their detractors? The inconvenient truth is they have effectively become child soldiers, cannon fodder for the protest movement to throw at the front lines. Blame those who enable and encourage them, including partisan parents and two-faced teachers who have lost their moral compass. It's tragic that families are being torn apart by conflicting attitudes towards the civil unrest, with teenagers running away from home to join their comrades on the protest front lines, while desperate parents are helpless to stop them. But it's also reprehensible that others have no qualms about radicalizing their children, filling their malleable minds with adult prejudices and blinkered political ideology that they are incapable of processing. I'm talking about toddlers who are not yet toilet trained being made to stand in the middle of protest crowds and shout slogans they don't understand, at an age when they should be more interested in the Easter Bunny than extradition. A tarnished generation, intoxicated by anarchy, desensitized by mob violence, and alienated by official apathy, shall inherit the earth. A friend was telling me just the other day that her little daughter, a precocious primary school goer, has been growing resentful about her mother's long working hours around protest disruptions and blames the city's leader for the family situation. "I hope Carrie Lam will step down. Because of her, I hardly get to see you at home," she told her mum. So sweet, yes, but terribly sad too. When are we going to start facing the fact that this revolution of our times is devouring its own children? I dare not imagine what kind of future lies in store for this once beautiful, now broken city of ours.